So this would have been a Masonic lodge, maybe a boarding house. Not really sure. It doesn't really label. There's two of them out. There's a boarding house and a Masonic lodge out here. We're not 100% sure which one is which, but because there is no labels on them. So, you know, there's one of them. It's crazy to think. Look at this. Look at this. I really didn't know they even had this kind of craftsmanship back in the day, back in the time period. I mean, I really didn't. I mean, you see the detail to it. I just didn't know.
Once you step inside, it matches up with the picture of the Sonic Lodge.
Oh my! Oh my! Keep coming in, Nick. Once you step there. Oh, this is definitely not safe.
No, hold up. Yours is going to just safe way across. Right here. Come across here.
As you can see, people, look at the floor here. Yeah, the floor is definitely gone. As you can see, this mud here. This mud, you see the mud? This mud is from flooding. This whole area gets flooded when in 2011, Mississippi River flooded and took out. These buildings had been almost completely restored at one point in time, but the water from the Mississippi River has left its mark right here on the floor. A quarter-inch of mud. And probably this quarter-inch of mud is the only reason we're able to still be in here, because it's probably what's holding me up.
If you walk right here, there's a beam across the floor.
Look,
Just recording that. I'm gonna take the camera. We don't want to take too many people up in here. It's just not really safe for everybody to be in here at one time. So here we go.
The stairs are the sturdiest part to this place.
James says the stairs are the sturdiest part. I agree. I do agree. Now we're on the top floor, folks. And one thing I know about the top floor is if you fall through, you're gonna have a whole lot. As you can see, the floor is just completely shot out. But look at these walls. Look, we have a bat. James, come here. We got a bat right here. I'm gonna bring him in close for you. As you can see, people, that's your common bat right there. We have many of these in the southeast. They're all over the place. He's just checking out. He's just chilling. He's in here for the daytime. At nighttime, he'll be out there taking out little bugs. They don't suck blood like they're thought of doing. They just eat bugs, and that's pretty much what they do. And they're chilling here. I wouldn't be surprised if we look around. It's very rare to find just one by themselves. Most of the time they fly and live in packs, like most animals. Let's check out the rest of this place. You see there, people, the floors are just could buckle under us any minute. And I can see what James is saying here. You see they've got pool pits over here and over here as well. I can literally stand on one and watch the other one. Now what if this was a dual platform? You stand up here and first one to draw and shoot the other one, you know? Who knows, really? I mean,
they have multiple heads.
It's insane. And look, you see you had a pulpit here as well. 3-panel pulpit. I'm not sure what the purpose of that would have been for. I mean, maybe your people sat in the middle. Of course, now if they had to sit there, they'd be in danger of going through. As you can see, it's just not safe really to be in here anymore. Somebody's took the courtesy of putting in a new piece of plywood as if that's gonna fucking help. Cut that out. Sorry about that.
Hey, Larry.
Ooh, look at the guy right here. So
If you know what these are used for, get down in the comments and let us know. We would love to know and we'd love to hear from you.
yeah, like James said, we have no idea really what's going on with these 3 pulpits. It's just strange.
I know it's cool.
It is definitely cool. Strange though. I don't understand that. You wouldn't see anything like that today. But I don't believe this is the boarding house. I believe this was the, what'd you say?
Masonic Lodge.
Masonic Lodge.
Somewhere around here, if it's a Masonic Lodge, if they did it within tradition, I mean, you'd think there'd be a cornerstone somewhere. But this might have just been what they had at the time.
So far we've only seen one bat. All right.
If there's any more, they're up in there.
It could very well be, James. Could be.
He's just chilling. He knows we're here too. He can hear us. We're probably irritating the piss out of him.
Yeah, because their hearing is extremely good.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a cute little fella.
Yeah, he is.
He bite the hell out of me, I bet.
Yeah.
But you see his head twerking around?
Oh yeah.
He's picking up on us.
So let's get out of here and take it on down to the next one. There's plenty more here to see.
Done and I'm off my neck. This floor is pretty stable, man.
The floor is definitely unstable. I can't believe they still allow you to come in here. I'm super proud that they do, but I'm super surprised as well.
They might not allow it.
Yeah, true.
They might not condone it, but they
may
will
not
stop you.
condone it, but obviously the door's wide open, people, so we just, did what anybody would do.
I think it's one of those enter at your own risk.
Yeah, without a sign letting you know. If you ever get a chance to come here, people, I suggest it 100% that you take the time. It's a long ways away from Pell City for sure. It's a good 500 miles over here. We've been riding. We left the house at 3 o'clock this morning, and we're just now getting here. And it is. Anybody had the time?
11:32.
11:32. We left the house at 3 o'clock this morning, and it's 11:32. So you figure time we get done filming and get back, it's definitely going to be dark. But I'd say definitely just to see this one building's worth the trip. 1,000 pounds of silver. Today, it sounds like a lot of money. But then it sounds like an incredible amount of money. I wish they had the pull cord on it. I don't even know if it's still there.
Dude, there's a way up into that tower.
Yeah, it has to be. You have to be able to pull maintenance on the belt.
It ain't no way safe to get up in there right now, I'm sure.
So at this point, I think what we're going to do is we're going to need to hop in the car and go farther and see what we see on down. So, join us along.
You can see the fire. Pick it up. We're getting our calories in today. Somebody drives up and down this road. Maybe not too recently, but since it's been wet.
So here we were walking down this little road. It's a little beaten path off the main road over here, which is really dirt itself. This is dirt as well. And here we got another building. We got a building here. We have a building here. There's a couple buildings over here. They're all growed up. But at one time this area would have thrived with people. There'd have been people going everywhere, horses, buggies, just soldiers. This place would have been alive like any town you've ever been to. But it would have been, of course, no cars, which would have been much better that way. But it would have been just nice. It would have been different. It would have been, it's amazing that it's still here. I mean, so let's go in and check them out. You want to turn the light on, buddy? And as you can see, once again, the mud, the river. That's what really amazes me about these places, that they're still here. Because the river itself has just done so much damage. And one thing I know, that's like a this town was still here functioning as a town into the 1930s. People were still living here in the 1940s.
Hey,
it was
here long enough to have some fuse boxes put in it.
Exactly, you know, in the 40s and the 50s, there were people living in this town. It was declared, the governor declared it was no longer a township in the 30s, and until then it was thriving. Look, you have bars on the windows right here. Maybe this could have been some kind of jail at one time, you know. I don't really know. There's no way of knowing where all these buildings were. So the best we can do is just speculate on what we're seeing. You know, each one of these windows have a good set of bars on them. There had to been a reason behind that. You wouldn't put bars on these windows for just no reason. We're out in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure crime rate is non-existent out here. Over here. Thought I was a goner. One thing you got to keep in mind, Nick, as well as I do, we've got to keep our eye out for snakes. Y'all don't ever forget to keep your eye out for snakes.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, what do you think I'm doing right here?
Oh, look, people. Check it out.
Old tea.
The old remnants of a pool table right here.
Yeah.
You have a pool table.
That James is not snake proof.
Now this would have been a, look at the size of this pool table. It leads me to believe it would have been from the 50s. The plugs in the walls tell me that this place would have been operational as long as it could have been, you know, I don't know really, but it's not, this is definitely not, it's an old building, but people were still living here well into the 50s and 60s.
I'll be right back.
This TV tube right here. This is old. TV, an old TV. With a dial on it. This would have been a 50s model
That might have
TV.
been like a water purification.
Hmm.
Possibly. Or it could have been a hot water.
Let's
It
see
could
what we
have been
do.
an old water tank and one outside.
Yeah.
Because they sure built it into a well or a main. In fact, hey, I bet you I know what that is. Bet you that's a water pump.
Yeah, that's a whale right there.
Because we were bringing that water up from the well,
That's
yeah.
a well. At one time that well would have been this bucket rolled up well on a cord, but later on it had a pump put in. Water purification.
I thought it was for a second until I realized what it
That
was sitting
tank
on.
right there would have been actually like a storage tank, so it didn't always have to pump all the time.
They were doing something with these houses up into the 70s. They
Easily.
had to have been because
Definitely.
those damn fuse panels in there are newer.
Well, what I read was that until the 60s and 70s, most of these places were occupied still by the families until they had died off and moved away. And you know, by 1972, there was almost nobody living here. By 1972, at that point, the Historical Society really took the area over. It wasn't long after that they realized they didn't have the money necessary to keep the place up. They turned it over to the state of Mississippi, and it looks like the state of Mississippi didn't have the money either because they've let most of these buildings go. Thank God they kind of preserved the church, and they've preserved many more. There's a general store and stuff. We got people walking down the road there. I don't know. I worry about we're supposed to be here. We didn't see no trespassing signs, so I don't really know. I can only hope that being here is okay because we don't want to break any laws. I think we just want to show you history. I mean, I love history. I love to read about history, but to actually be here in history, it's just amazing. You don't get this every day, I promise you, Nick. You know, Nick, as well as I do, you don't get this in everyday life experience. Come on with it, Nick. We'll hold the steam up for you. And a tight squeeze here for you. This would have been an old house if I'm guessing correctly. It looks like a house. Just a regular house. Something there may stood the test of time here. If I can get one of these bottles out, I may be able to get you a year on this. And what kind of drink it was as well, huh? Who knows what we're looking at here on age-wise. I just want to see, people, if I can get you maybe a whole bottle put together here, we can get a kind of idea of what we're looking at. I think I'm looking at something Welch's. A Welch's bottle here. Oh, look at it. Maybe have a date on it. It's definitely old. That's the bottleneck. If this been busted and destroyed. But as you can see, people, look. Original bottles, the whole case is right here, but they took a beating over the years, and probably people and the river itself. So it's hard to tell exactly. I can't really see any dates on here, but I can tell you there's probably from the 50s. 40s or 50s is what you're looking at right there. I mean, even that's old. I mean, it's not 1800s, but it's old. A lot of bottles around here. You know what this might have been? We'll need to check with it, but this very well could have been the general store. One of these houses out here, one of these places, it was the general store where everybody did their shopping, their grocery shopping. I'm not sure, but it very well could be that. We're seeing a lot of cases with bottles in them, so I believe that's probably what this was. What does it look like on the inside? Not good. James, are you thinking, is this the general store? I've got a lot of cases of bottles out here, very old ones. We got a jukebox. We got a jukebox, people. Well, I'm gonna go in and check her out. Here. I'm gonna take the camera here and run up in here and look at it.
Hey, be careful. We only got about half the floor in here.
And it says we got a half a floor.
Yeah, so be careful. Ready?
Do we have that much? As you can see, I almost went through there and look, here, would you? Just at the size of this place, could you imagine a family of 6 or 7 people living in this? And it was very common for families to be very big back then.
Oh, we're very spoiled nowadays.
All families were much bigger back then. They simply just needed the workforce. And people were just really bored back then. Didn't have a lot to do at nighttime. There was no TV or nothing. So, obviously, there was only one thing to do. But check out this jukebox. I mean, I wish we could find a year on it, James. If anybody knows, if anybody has any idea
Now hold up, man. Just wish me luck. Pray for me.
Okay, James is he's risking everything to walk over there because, as you can see, that floor is barely doing it. We're just trying to get some kind of year here, maybe some kind of date off this box. It would give us some kind of idea of when the last time people were here and this place was being used for anything. It seems odd that they would have just, I mean, it's intriguing to me. Who left the place behind? Who was last to live here? What was it? Why did they leave? What happened?
Not enough service.
My guess is that you're so far back here in the middle of nowhere and there was just nothing else going on. I mean, it's so far back here, people. We're literally 30 miles from the nearest house, as far as we could tell.
Hey, I got pictures of everything so we can figure out when it was made. There's the whole other side though.
So if anybody knows anything about these old jukeboxes and have any idea of the name brand.
It's a Rowe Ami sound in stereo round.
You heard it, people.
It's over there.
I would love to know more about it. We have a little room back here, 2 rooms. The whole floor fell in on that one. And this one's on its way out.
Oh, look at that. Is this a school?
Look, people, let me get back, James. As you can see, look at that. Some kind of artwork. It says school on it. Maybe this was the kids' room and their parents allowed them to draw on the walls.
Dude, there's like a little protractor and books and needle and thread.
You see this light switch? If we have any electricians out there that know some time periods on what they're seeing as far as light switches go, maybe they'd be interested in giving us a little bit of, you know, how old is this light? Does anybody know? I'm not sure, I'll be honest with you. It's just not stuff that I know. So I'm gonna try to get out of here now.
I'll take a picture. Unless you want to come up in here and try.
Hi, baby. You're on camera. Hey, Nick. Nick, where are you, buddy?
Right here.
Listen, folks. If there's something out here that could tell a story about the history of this place, it's right here. This tree, I estimate the size of this tree, it must be at least 250 years old, maybe even 300 years old.
Head east, then turn right.
It said head east and turn right.
Okay, support my back, okay? Ready? Go.
Dude, you...
I'm not tall enough. Hold up. Oh God, I got it. Holy shit, this is working. Okay, go, go, go. Down.
Down, boy. Are you serious?
Go.
You want to do this? Okay, let's go put it back up in.
No, I recorded that.
Okay. Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah.
so look, people, we really just wanted to get the bulb for only one reason. I wanted to see if a 50-year-old light bulb would still work. It doesn't have no rattle to it.
Just a little bit, but like it would not. It might work. It might work.
It may actually work.
We're plugging this into my house. We're plugging this in my basement.
We're going to try this out. A 50-year-old light bulb that's been sitting right there for at least 50, 60 years. Who knows?
Hold up.
If it works, it'd be kind of cool. And we could, whoever made it. See, people, this would have been one of the last houses probably built here. One of the last families could have lived in this house. And you know it's very old because them are hand-built, look at them, hand-built. Hand-built, not machine-built, not factory-built, hand-built. It's old. All right. Nick, if you'll pan out and give the people a view right down through these alleys right here. This whole row, that would have been houses. That would have been businesses. What you've seen is only a small portion of what was. I mean, they were just everywhere. At one point in time, they had 2 banks. They had 2 schools. They had 2 stores. They had barber shops. They had general stores. They had bars. They had ballrooms. They had everything. And it was all right in this area. In its heyday, the residents of this town would have spanned over 4,000 acres. They would have been spread out, of course. You know, people didn't want to be right on top of each other back then, but you had many people living inside the inhabited. Its heyday would have been about the 1950s, 1960s. After the Civil War, the town went through a lot of hardship. Shortly after the Civil War, yellow fever hit this area and it got really bad. It got so bad it made national news. All the way in Philadelphia, all the way in New York City. They were talking about it all over the country at the time. It wiped out almost all the inhabitants of this area, all but a small few. Over 10 doctors come out here trying to save people and lost their lives as well. It was just insane. Finally, the yellow flu made it through here, and about 4 years later, it made a return. It come back. It didn't come back with such a vengeance this time, though. It only stuck around for a short time and only took out a few inhabitants. But at this point, they took such a devastating blow, the town never was the same after that. Okay. Alright, so look at here, people. What you have here is another house. It almost looks lived in. You see, maybe somebody's still here. See, you got an old dish network satellite. You got an air conditioner that you can't see just yet. When Nick goes around, you'll be able to see it. You see how high it's on the stilts here? It's on those stilts because the river flood. We're just gonna knock on the door. We want to see somebody maybe lives here. Maybe they know some history we can't tell you. True history. Maybe this is their getaway home or something.
Hey, somebody's been in here recently. There's like a sign that says keep calm and drink martinis. But the door's not locked.
We can't, I don't know, James. Folks, it looks too much like somebody may live here for us to just walk in the door. I'd be terrified just to go in, afraid we may be going right in somebody's house. I would definitely say going in is a bad idea because it really looks like somebody lives here. But what I'm seeing over here is interesting me. Because what I'm seeing over there, it looks like to be another church.
I don't know if somebody still lives in it, but there's like a mattress in there.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to go in that one. So look at this. This one over here we can go in. This may be one of the few spots and few inhabitants that still live out here. We're supposed to be just a couple, maybe 2 or 3 people that still live in this small town. And it doesn't look like they live there anymore, but it may be somebody that's passed away recently. So you got a brand new power box there. It's definitely had power on it recently. You got a nice air conditioning unit there. This is probably what this is.
Hey, Jason.
Look, folks. My cameraman, I dropped the bulb. We gotta have this bulb.
Your cameraman didn't drop nothing.
No, you showed me I dropped it. Oh, look, people. That's just as good as the last tree. Look, somebody's backed up to it and done some burning out.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to make it with these flip flops, Jason. Jason, here.
Oh, look at that. Somebody left a white Jesus camera.
Okay, so I'm gonna take the camera. Nick's got flip flops on, so I'm gonna go take the camera and go in there and get you some shots. So this would have been church right here. Not nearly as preserved as the last church, but quite a bit bigger. As you can see, the waters took its toll on it. It's much closer to the Mississippi and at a much lower elevation as well. As James walks across it, I can literally feel the whole floor shake. Feels like it could go down any minute. They do have the upper balcony though. They definitely have that. However, I don't see a way to get up there.
Hey, it's over here. Go to the right. All the way over here. Oh, you can't go.
What's in there? So we're gonna go upstairs now. We're gonna check out the upper room. The upper room!
Does it work? It's moving.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. We're gonna signal to everybody we're here though.
No, watch out. We don't wanna do that.
But it still works.
Look, people. The man says the bell still works.
Yeah, look, you can faintly hear it ding.
So, there's a good chance that when we pull this bell,
Hear it?
everybody and their mama's gonna know we're here. So we're gonna pull it anyway.
No, we ain't. You can.
James says, no, we ain't.
Hey.
I prefer y'all to get down out of here just in case the bell goes.
Yeah, that's why we're not going.
Well, hey, it's a little soft right there.
Yeah, that's why we're not yet. We don't want to take you to the morgue.
I want people to see what it felt like to sit up here and watch service. So,
They got that cord running all the way down.
again, your upper class would have been up here. And the lower class, like me, would have been down there. So, I actually get to sit up here now and pretend like I got a little bit of money in my pocket. How cool is that, people? I had to pull the bell, I really did. I hope we didn't alert too many people of our presence. But as you can see, looking through the window here, we literally get a sense of what's going on here. I mean, you're looking out here, people, at history. I don't know about everybody has the imagination I have, but I have the imagination. I can literally see them walking around out there in their cowboy boots, in their cowboy hats. You know, farmers, children, teachers, husbands and wives, workers, and even slaves, people. I know most people don't want to think about that when they think about the past of our ancestors, but it was a major past. It was a major thing in the past. They were slaves. It's just the way it was here. It don't mean it was right. In fact, it was absolutely not right. But it's just the way it was. You know, you can't take away history. And I really hate that they have done that in schools these days. They've taken it away. And one thing that happens, if you forget what happens in the past, you're subject to repeat it once again. I think that's the worst thing they could have done. Just take it out of the curriculum. And I hope you've enjoyed looking at these places. I don't know how many more buildings we have to show you, but we're going to show you everything we have. Alright, it's Jason again behind the camera. So look at the old homestead here. Just another one of the places that would have been standing so many years ago. This time's took its toll on it. It's down for the count now. But the main reason we stopped for this one, we just don't have time to show you everyone. There's so many of these just like this out here that are just been taken over by time. But the reason why I wanted to show you this one is because I found a well. I seen it from the road and I said, we were just talking about it. I wonder where all the wells are. And then it happened, folks. The moment I wanted to, we were able to find it. Just bear with me just a second. I'm gonna show you down in this well. I'm turning the light on the camera. Back again. I had to get the light working, people. But I wanted you to see. I wanted you to see what I'm looking at. If y'all can see. I mean, that's a well, folks. The water is literally still down there. Look at how big it was. It's really not what I expected. It's a whole cavern underneath the ground, and it's just slap full of water. Look, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna show you what I mean. Check it out, people. See? It's full of water. And that is an original well, y'all. From the time period. Definitely from the time period, look. It had been right outside their house here. This is right here.
Old bed frame.
Look at those old windows.
Somebody fucks right here.
Where's that? Oh.
Go.
Look at here, baby. You've got an RV right here on stilts. See, this is probably one of the few people that still inhabit this area in this little town. You know, she's definitely a true ghost town. I've traveled all over this country, from one end to the other, from town to town, and I've never seen nothing like this. I think it's just right in our backyard. It's crazy. Been interesting to see how they would have got that thing up on them stilts, in my opinion. That's way up there. As this area is all flood area, which is the reason why a lot of these houses and buildings have took such a toll. As you can see, it's all flat here. The Mississippi River's right through the trees there. It literally used to be right here. They rewrited it in the I'm not even sure when. You can look that up if you want to know. But I know for a fact it was rewrited, and that was the demise of the town in the first place. But as you can see, the water still makes it way up to here. Because, you know, these people are, this is probably like a summer home, a little vacation home or something like that. That's the only reason I could think that they would put it up that high is the water gets
This
up.
is his hunting cabin.
Huh?
He probably sits up there and pops them deer when they come in his backyard.
Literally could, couldn't he?
Look,
You see all the
he got a
antlers?
septic line run up. And then look at all the antlers hanging around it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hunting cabin, y'all. That's probably what it is.
That's the best hunting cabin I've seen. It's got a, and like you were saying, it's got a drainage, toilet, plumbing, everything.
Well,